Hello, I am Jenny Nyholm, your mental health outreach coordinator for Tri-County GLAD. For the month of March 2015, we welcome you to the Community Education Workshop vlog entitled Dealing with Bereavement. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, NLM, under the National Institute of Health, NIH, www.nlm.nib.gov, bereavement is a period of grief and mourning after a loss or death. This website adds that when you grieve, it is a part of a normal process of reacting to a loss. Welcome this guest to the Community Education Workshop vlog on bereavement. What is your name, and can you tell us a bit about yourself? My name is Elaine Akins. I was born and raised in California. I went to the California School for the Deaf in Berkeley. I entered CSD at the age of 10. I graduated in 1956 and planned to go to a university that ended up being married. Have you experienced bereavement when someone passed away? When did it happen to you when it first experienced someone passing away? My first experience, I never saw death or funerals, but it was my grandfather. I was in my 20s. My second experience was with my father when I was 40 years old. My third one was my beloved late husband, Harvey, when I was 57 years old. Can you share with us your negative and positive experiences of bereavement? Sure. Okay. Harvey was excited to go to a high school football game between CSD Fremont and Calistoga Cats in Calistoga, where we lived. So excited, but I cannot join them due to a cold. I stayed home and it rained that day. Suddenly, Harvey drove home and took his shoes off. He ran around saying he did not feel good and was shivering. I asked him what was wrong. He said he did not know and felt strange in his body. I ran next door to the neighbor and gestured about my husband's heart. Gesturing was a way of communicating because I did not speak. He quickly picked up the phone. He was a male nurse working in a hospital. The nurse helped Harvey and tried to speak to him. Harvey told them that he was cold all over, and he had layers of blankets over him and still felt cold. We were puzzled and put him on the floor. I noticed something on Harvey. It's like from a movie on how you die, looking like this. The eyes rolling over and oh, it's fake. But when I saw my husband like this, it was serious. His eyes really did roll over. I screamed, "No, no, do not die. No, no." The 911 people arrived. The fire department tried to save Harvey through resuscitation and brought him to the hospital. So I rode with him. I did not know exactly what happened to him. The hospital staff came up to me saying they're not sure and ran the tests. They informed me that Harvey was brain dead due to the lack of oxygen. I said, "You should have let him die," and asked why they saved him. They told me that that was the doctor's responsibility, was to save the patient's life and not allow him to die. I was lost. I contacted my family and informed my daughter, Francine. She was puzzled. Saying, "No, I just talked to him and he was fine." Francine flew to Oakland to my good friend and drove up and picked her up. They drove down and we met with the doctor, the heart specialist, a nutritionist. We found that it was an aneurysm and they could not do anything. We asked them if they could save him, and they said they could do nothing. Immediately, I felt shocked and did not know what to do. I cried and I cried. I cannot believe that Harvey was fine before. Everything changed, and I felt shuddering. It was a matter of time. I called and visited him daily. I looked at Harvey and it appeared to me that he was perfectly asleep, although he was dead to me. I screamed and touched him. He had a seizure and opened his eyes. I was scared. I called the nurse about his opened eyes, and then I went home and Francine told me that she could not sleep. I asked her to sleep on my side while I slept on Harvey's side on the left. Of the bed. I knew why. I had a bond with Harvey, and I wondered why. I was puzzled. I slept soundly and was quickly startled. I got up and asked, "What was that?" Good enough, Harvey's spirit walked around and touched the edges of the bed. Every night, he listened to music while I was asleep in bed with the lights were out. He always walked around the edges of the bed. Francine asked me if she felt his movements. I reassured her and we went to sleep afterwards. I felt burdened and prayed to God to take Harvey. And to end his suffering. I prayed and prayed until 6 a.m. Then my body reacted by bouncing, so Francine asked, "What happened? What's going on?" I told her I didn't know, but I thought that Harvey would pass away. A few minutes later, the hospital called me that Mr. Atkins passed away at 6 a.m. I realized that and informed the family. They cried. The daughter-in-law and Francine helped me with the arrangements. I did not know what to do at the time and the last minute. I told them that Harvey did not want it and to be cremated in Calistoga. He was the happiest when he lived in Calistoga. We arranged that. I was very tired. I was sleepless for a few nights and could not eat because I was shocked and could not believe that Harvey was going to die. I had everyone asleep after they arrived at 11 p.m. I was too tired. I told them that I would save the news and we would talk to them in the morning. They said okay, and I was going to tell them good night. And all of a sudden, I looked around and felt this footsteps nearby. I looked at its shape. My Christian friend smiled and said, yes, it is time to die. He knew it was time to die. It meant that his spirit was still around. My other friends were scared and panicked. I calmed them down and told them that Harvey was grateful to them for coming to support me, and I looked up and said, I love you, Harvey, for comforting them. The next morning, we went to Stevenson Trail Park as we had the ashes. There was a service with an interpreter. We scattered the ashes at the park and bid goodbye and see you again. What strategies did you use to alleviate the symptoms of bereavement? How were the negative and positive experiences in utilizing these strategies? A good question. Yes, I went to a grief support group in Encino, California. Met others. I felt negative and told myself I should not have gone to the support group. And my daughter said, yes, Mom, that grief support group helps so much. You have to face the process through this. I said, all right, and met the others. All of them go through the emotions of being sad and crying. Those made me feel emotional. I cried. I can't. One family said, yes, it is normal for that type of grief. I was shocked, unable to share for a while because I was not ready. The others vented. Negatively, while I was helpless, it was a normal process of grief. I told myself I could bear with that. I attended there every Wednesdays. 3 weeks later, I was feeling at ease. I told them that I was ready, and they were very encouraging me and saying, Elaine, I explained to them that I did not expect the unexpected death, and I was fine for a few hours. Later, I was not fine, and I felt that something took Harvey away from my life. Why? I vented and vented, while others encouraged me to continue to vent. I was out of breath. The process took me a long time to attend to, for 14 to 16 months. Finally, I agreed to have a one-on-one with a psychologist. So far, I felt better. And it seemed okay. I told the psychologist, thank you very much. I moved on, but it was not well. No, I had flashbacks and nightmares. I woke up and thought that Harvey sat there on the bed. He said, come on, help me. I could not believe my own eyes and remembered that Harvey was not around and gone from my mind. I thought that 6 months I was okay. No, it was not enough. What did I do? I decided to continue to see a psychologist for another 2 years. And the psychologist was Lucy Miller, a great deaf psychologist. I saw her just to vent. Can you share your message in spreading the awareness of bereavement? Very interesting. My friends went through a terrible period of grief, going crazy and crying. She did not accept that about any spouse or family member dying. I took that to heart. She asked me how I dealt with this. I suggested her to go to a grief support group. With an interpreter. I told her that she had to attend the group with similar experiences. Go to church, temple, or anyone. I encourage you to do so. Grief is a natural response to a loss and emotional suffering you feel. When something happens to someone you love, is taking away, www.helpguide.org. Some people who experience bereavement may cope well, while the others may not deal with a severe grief, which may lead to depression. Death of a loved one is often the cause of the most intense type of grief. There are other types of loss which a person experiences bereavement. Some examples include such as loss of health, loss of financial stability, death of a pet, divorce or relationship breakup, loss of safety after trauma, people from all walks of life grieve differently. As it is a personal and individual experience. According to www.healthguide.org, here are 5 stages of bereavement, grief. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. This website also explains that the common symptoms of bereavement may include such as shock and disbelief, sadness, guilt, anger, physical symptoms such as insomnia, fatigue, or aches and pain. There are some coping strategies to alleviate the bereavement symptoms. By getting help from friends or family members, having the comfort from your faith, joining a support group, or talking to a therapist or grief counselor. For those of you who go through a period of bereavement, and it is important to take care of yourself, helpguide.org provides tips such as face your feelings, express your feelings in a creative way, look after your physical health, don't let anyone tell you how to feel, and don't tell yourself how to feel either. Plan ahead for grief triggers such as anniversaries, holidays, or milestones. Thank you for sharing with us on your experience of bereavement. Thank you for sharing on the vlog. I really feel good about my experience. I express my feelings and I feel uplifted. Thank you for inviting me to share with you.